which is going against, opposite, is called a rip current. So when I say the word rip current, you must know about waves. Which direction waves moves? They move towards the shoreline. So how about the rip current? Rip current goes against the shore. It's written here. Water steadily flowing from the shore against incoming waves. That's called a rip current. So now, which way are the waves flowing? It's towards the beach. And which way does the rip current flow? Away from the beach. Do you see this diagram? It shows you the direction of rip currents. Now here, it's page 509. You need to draw, because they've shown you draw an arrow that shows the direction water is flowing in the rip current. I told you the word rip current, whenever you see the rip current, the direction has to be opposite, not towards the shore. It has to be opposite. Do you see how is it going against the beach, opposite to the shore? So that's why you need to complete this page by drawing the opposite directions. Okay, now. Next page, I'm sure that you have completed till now, page 509. Now here, okay. So what happens, actually explain that gravitational field of these bodies pull on Earth. Explain how gravitational fields of bodies pull on Earth. What is it related to the ocean, the gravitational force? Any idea? Okay, so before we know about the gravitational force, I will just explain you about, or example about, what happens here. Sometimes water in the South Pacific gets unusually warm, producing a climate pattern called El Nino. What is it called, girls? It's called as El Nino or El Nino. Okay, now what is it, El Nino? It's a season disrupts, like normal temperature. It's a winter season and suddenly a day becomes hot, or it's a summer season and suddenly it rains, or a sudden change in the weather. It's called as an El Nino season or El Nino season. It disrupts normal weather patterns, causing extreme weather such as droughts and flooding throughout the world. Okay. Now, coming to the word tide. So, have you ever seen the big tides or the small tides? What is actually a tide? The water level of the ocean rises and falls. It goes up and it comes down. It goes up and it comes down. So this water level of the ocean rising and falling in a cycle, it's called a tide. I will show you in the other picture. Can you see these two pictures here? What's the difference? Here you see the water level is away from the ship, and see how the ship is covered with the water level here. So what do you say? Which one is high and which is low? To my right, it is higher tide, and to the left, it's lower tide. This picture will make you understand about the term tide. Okay. Now, the water level of the ocean rises and falls in a cycle which is called as tides. Tides are caused by the pull of the sun and moon on the Earth's ocean. Okay, it's actually a miracle that these tides are not caused by itself, just by the wind. No, they are caused by the pull of sun and the moon on Earth's oceans. When I say the pull of the sun, what do you think? You must know about the gravitational force, the gravitational fields which pulls on the earth, causing the ocean water to move toward them slightly in the form of bulges. What is the meaning of bulges, girls? What does the word bulges mean? Okay. The word bulges, it means a small bump, or like example, you got hurt on your head and you have a small bump from a normal surface, it is actually rising. So it is a bump or a bulges. Now, do you see the difference in the large photo on this page, on the other page? Do you see this difference? How is it? And it is the same coastal scene with the same boats and clock, same time. But in the first photo, the water level is lower here. The water level is lower. More rocks and beaches are exposed. In the second picture, the water level is higher. So this will explain you about tide much easier. Now here, please complete that. The picture shows the same shoreline. In one picture, a large amount of the beach is visible. In the other picture, less beach is exposed. This is what you have to write. Now, coming to your next. The moon gravity. Okay, the turning tides. As I told you, tides are actually not caused just because of waves or wind. No. This is because of the gravitational fields of these bodies which pull on Earth. So the moon's gravity pulls on Earth, resulting in two bulges. I told you the meaning of bulges. That means that it forms a bump, or it forms from the normal surface, it is a little higher, forming in Earth's ocean. The higher water level in the bulges produce a high tide. Okay, when it is higher water level, it produces a high tide. Simply, as I told you, they have two tides. High tide refers to highest height of the ocean level, and the low tide refers to the lowest level. So higher water level produces a high tide. The lower water level or low tide occurs between the bulges. This is in the bulges, produce high tide. The lower occurs between the bulges. Now, lastly, when the Earth, the Sun, and the Moon are in a straight line, their combined gravity, okay, normally they're not in a straight line, but when they come in the straight line, okay, at the time when they come on the straight line, they causes the highest high tides. They causes highest high tides and the lowest low tides. If the tides are lowest, if the tides are low, it will be the lowest low tide. If they're high, they'll be highest high tide. So this is what you have to know about what happens when Earth, Sun, and Moon, they come into a straight line. The combined gravity causes the most dramatic difference in the levels of the tides. It's like dramatic difference. That's why I say that highest tides are high tide and the lowest low tides when the Earth's Moon are in a straight line. And when the Sun, Earth, and the Moon are positioned in an L shape, the difference between the levels of high tide and low tide is smallest. There is not much difference. There is only a little difference between when the Sun, Earth, and the Moon are positioned in an L shape. Remember, this was in the straight line and this was in the L shape. Next here. Okay. Relative position of the Sun, Moon, and Earth. They have shown how it is in the straight line and how it is in the L shape. And here, as I have explained you everything about tide, high tide, low tide, and here is do the math. What is the